we are gathered on, the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, the Lenawepak, and the Adwandran. We also recognize that First Nations communities in this area, which include the Chippewa of the Thames First Nation, the Oneida Nation of the Thames, and the Munsee Delaware Nation. These communities continue to live on sovereign nations with their own unique languages, cultures, and customs. We're grateful for the opportunity to live and work in this territory. My name is Acting Inspector David Younan, and I'll be guiding us through this morning's press conference. Today's press conference is being made by the London Police Service Board about the future of the London Police Service. We ask that you hold all your questions until the end of the press conference, at which point we'll go over some rules. I would now like to welcome Chair Ryan Goss of the London Police Service Board, who will begin today's announcements. Chair.
Thank you, Inspector Younan, and good morning, everyone. We really appreciate you being here for what is a truly important day for the London Police Service. Before we get started, I would like to acknowledge the members of the London Police Service Board standing behind me. We have Vice Chair Nancy Branscombe, members Susan Stevenson, Steve Lehman, Josh Morgan, and Dr. Haley Faulkner. I would like to thank each of them for all their work and dedication. It's a true privilege to serve as the chair of the London Police Service Board, and it's also an honor to work with each of these individuals as they are relentless in ensuring that the London Police Service delivers for all residents of our city, because that is our mandate. I'd also like to acknowledge everyone in the room today. We have many local leaders, members of the London Police Service, and as well as the London Police Association, and we'd like to thank you for all being here. So, with that said, I would like to also welcome those online for joining us for a significant announcement regarding the legacy and direction of this organization. The London Police Service Board is exceedingly proud to stand before you today and announce that we have secured the future of leadership at the London Police Service and the future of public safety in the City of London by extending the contract of Chief Tai Trung until December 31st, 2031. Back in 2023, the London Police Service Board embarked on a mission to make the City of London safer. In fact, we stood in this very room with a sincere promise to Londoners that we would stop at nothing to build a service up to the standard that the public expects and rightfully deserves. You may recall a commitment to a safer city now. Today, I can confidently say on behalf of the London Police Service Board that despite pushback and multiple hurdles, the board has delivered on that promise. We recognize that years of underfunding had created a pervasive public safety issue that had to be addressed. The luxury of time had passed. The situation was dire, and the immediate and transformational steps were required to avoid an all-out crisis. Our first step, before the board secured a historical budget that ensured significant resourcing, was to bring in a changemaker, a thought leader, someone with a vision that aligns with what the boards of a safer city and stronger relationships with those to whom we are accountable. This includes the community and our employees. Without hesitation and without a doubt, the board recognized that Chief Tai Trung was that person. Hiring externally was a strategic decision made with the intention of bringing the London Police Service to a place where it can thrive as a leader in public safety in the province of Ontario. Chief Trung has spent the last 2 years leading the way in a cultural and organizational reset that was directly and positively impacted the safety of our city. Violent crime rates are down. Response times are improving. Progressive mental health and wellness programs are providing support to those in need, both in the community and within our membership. Bridges have been built and rebuilt with our community partners. Trust has been restored. While the purpose of today is to celebrate just how far we've come, it's also to acknowledge the great lengths, heart, and commitment required by every person in this organization to carry this success into the future. Thank you, on behalf of the board, to every member, sworn and civilian, for your dedication to this organization. The only way to guarantee continued positive outcomes is by securing strong and thoughtful leadership, which this board has now done with today's contract extension. Progress isn't stagnant, and neither are community needs. Chief Trung is tireless. He's relentless, and I don't know if he actually sleeps. Those of you who have the pleasure of knowing him personally can attest to the ability to pivot, connect, and support those who he works with. The Chief and his leadership team have transformed our investments into results. And this extension reflects our commitment to stability and our confidence in his ability to continue to guide our membership in providing exceptional public safety to Londoners. I would like to take a moment to say thank you to Chief Chong's family. With organizational transformation comes great personal sacrifice. There have been many missed events, milestones, and difficult sacrifices over the last few years, and for that, I would like the Chief and his family to know that we are truly grateful. The progress is evident, and our community is better because of your leadership. Chief Trong, I'm going to turn it over to you, but first, with the utmost sincerity from myself and my board colleagues standing behind me, thank you. We look forward to what the future holds. There is still much to achieve, and we are pleased to have you at the helm for the foreseeable future. Chief Trong?
Good morning, everyone. Let me first start by thanking Chair Goss and Vice Chair Nancy Branscombe and my incredible board here for your trust, for your support, and for your belief in not only myself and the deputy chiefs, but your belief to our organization, to our members, to make sure that our organization is one of the best police services in the province. So thank you for being truly thoughtful in planning for the future of our people and our city. Almost 2.5 years ago, I came here. I was announced on May 1st, 2023. And I walked into this room not knowing really anybody who I see now. It was really hard to leave an incredible police service and come to a new police service and start to work. And I can tell you today it's a different story and it's a different feeling for me because I know almost everyone. I think I know everybody in this room, and it is just an immensely different feeling for me. I have notes. I'm not going to read them because I just think I'll just share with you a couple things that's going through my mind right now. And I want to thank my deputy chiefs. Deputy Chief Paul Bastion's in the room, Deputy Chief Scott Guilford, and Deputy Chief Trina McSween. She's supporting another police service right now in Ottawa, and she couldn't be here. But I really need to thank my deputy chiefs because without the deputies, I wouldn't be standing here still. So I have a really strong executive team. I see a number of senior leaders in this room, and there's a number of senior leaders that aren't here particularly, but I really need to thank them as well for all that they have endured over this transition and time of change. I walked into an organization and started really unraveling a lot of things that needed to change. And the change needed to happen for our members. And we've come such a long way. And the progress we have here today, when the chair speaks about crime down, we've dropped crime and crime severity index 2 years in a row. The first year we dropped was the largest reduction in Canada, while many police services and jurisdictions went up in crime severity index. We dropped by 14%. That's incredible. And that is not because of me. That's actually because of the deputies, the senior leadership. And I will tell you, it is mostly because of the men and the women in this organization who are working day in and day out, both sworn and civilian. It's our people that are a result of that. So my job here as chief is to support the board, to support the mayor, and to support the people that are moving this organization all below me. That's my job. And we do that because we have a responsibility to this community. The community has been feeling our response times for many years, our lack of response times. And I reported last year, it's for the first time in 5 years, that our response times were not getting worse. First time in 5 years, we were reducing Code 1s, Code 2s, and Code 3 response times. That does not happen by chance. Crime Severity Index reduction doesn't happen by chance. It's because of the work of our people in this organization. And I also want to acknowledge that the association, the London Police Association, we have Paulo Dominguez here today. I'm looking around for Gareth. I don't see him, but I know he's here in spirit. But Gareth Harris, who's the association president, and then we have board members here from the association. I need to acknowledge the leadership of the London Police Association for truly working with myself, the deputy chiefs, and the senior leadership team to move this organization to a better place. I committed when I came here over 2 years ago that my focus was going to be on our people and putting the resources and the systems in place to support our people better so that we can be a better police service for this community. I committed to strengthening trust between our police service and this community, and I committed to making this community safer each and every day with this team and with our members. That commitment remains. It will remain while I'm here as chief. I thank the board. I thank our membership. I thank this community, and I thank City Council for believing in our organization and passing and supporting the budget that the Police Service Board put through. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention 2 Police Service Board members that aren't here today, but were significant support, and that is former Chair Ali Shabar and former Vice Chair Megan Walker. I thank them for their incredible support while they were on the board and while they remain as citizens of this community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief. I'd now like to call on Mayor Josh Morgan to say a few words.
Well, thank you very much. So let me start by saying to the front line and everyday, both sworn and civilian officers of the London Police Service, on behalf of Londoners, thank you for everything you do. Each and every day, they do incredible work for all Londoners in our community, and each and every day, they make our city safer. So I wanted to start off by saying that, because I think this announcement really is about that. It is, how do we support an organization with stability into the future? And the best way to do that is to choose the right leader and secure that leader for a good period of time, because change does take time. And as the chief said, we're well on the path, and we're well headed down a direction that is very positive for our city, very positive. But we're not where we need to be yet, but we're on the right direction. The support of City Council was incredibly important, and I want to thank my colleagues in allowing this organization to not only have great leadership, but also have the resources to actually make some of the tough changes that need to be made, to make the investments that absolutely had to be done to assist the frontline officers and the work that they're doing each and every day with technology, resources, training, and all the things that they need to be successful. And to the command team for actually executing on that budget really well and actually getting it out the door, hiring the officers. There was a point at which, when we said we were going to hire more officers, that people said, oh, that can't be done. You can't get that many people in the door in that short period of time. But this chief, with connections to the minister and knowing how the police college system works, we got more people in. Also, with the changes and investments that were made, the London Police Service has become a destination of choice. People who want to leave other services and come here. Recruitment has never been easier to get really great, high-quality people, whether they're fresh out of police college or people who have careers in other service, to come to this service because they know this council, this board, this chief, and this administration are willing to invest in the people here and willing to make sure that they have the tools needed to provide for each and every day, to provide for safety in this city and beyond. I know it was we just had homecoming, and there was a lot of people who came in and did a really great work. There were no serious injuries. So that's just an example of an event that occurs in our city that when you prepare properly, when you coordinate across agencies, when you have good people on the ground doing good work, we can deal with significant events in this city in a safe and effective way. I know that many stats were given, many stats that are really important, and there will be many more stats to come about the directionality of crime in the city. This is the commitment that was made a few years ago. When I stood up at the State of the City and I said, we're going to make this historic investment in policing, we're going to put a budget together that's going to do some things that people are, not going to be happy about because they're going to say, that's a lot of money. We're proving each and every day that budgets are investments. And investments, when they're spent properly, provide a lot of value, and they produce results. And so what I'm happy is that as we continue to support this organization into the future, there will be leadership here that knows how to take those resources and turn them into results for this community. And so to Chief Trong and your family and everybody who supports you, thank you for making this commitment to our city. It means a lot to Londoners. It means a lot to this organization, and stability into the future at the leadership level is what allows everything else to flow. And as mayor and on behalf of council, we look forward to working with you through the next little while, all the budget processes, and of course the each and every day things that we have to collaborate on to make sure that the city is safe and successful and a great place to live, work, and play. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Morgan. An announcement regarding the future of the London Police Service certainly delivered, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of media questions. We're going to start taking now questions from reporters. Please raise your hand, and when called upon, please just provide your name, your outlet, and the question, and please let me know who you would like to direct your question to. I will repeat it for our live audience before you begin to answer. Dale?
Thanks to the police board for organizing this event today. My question is for the chief. People often ask me questions about you, readers, people I encounter, and one of the main questions they said, is the chief going to stay? Is this just rung on the ladder to a bigger job in the GTA with the OPP, the RCMP? And I always say, I don't know. Time will tell. Did you hear that question when you meet members of the community? Is that something you were hearing? People asking you, are you going to stay, or part of padding your resume to move on to something bigger?
So this question's from Dale Carruthers with the London Free Press, and Dale is inquiring, in essence, whether or not that this position that he took with the London Police Service was a rung on the ladder to a future.
Did he hear from the community?
Did he hear from the community whether this is a rung on the ladder for future advancement with the RCMP or the OPP? Chief?
Thank you for that comment or question, Dale. Let me say this. We have great leaders across Canada and in the province. I left York Regional Police. That's not a secret. York Regional Police is a fantastic police service, and it's in my view one of the best police services in the country. York Regional Police did not need me. I felt this community, this organization, and the direction the board was proceeding needed me. They could have brought in any other great leader, but for some reason, they allowed me to take this responsibility on. This is my responsibility. I didn't need to come here as a platform. I was very well positioned in York, and I can tell you the stress level in York was a lot less than the stress level is here. So I'm not, those are comments that I will take as a compliment. I will say the OPP has the best police leader in Canada, and maybe other chiefs will take issue with that, but I have always said that I truly feel the OPP is in tremendous hands, and I will speak of other police services. The chiefs are doing a fantastic job. I'm here focusing on our people. I'm here going to focus on developing and making sure our leaders and this organization is well equipped into the future. We've done a lot of great things. I can tell you, we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot more work to do. And I see our leadership, I see our deputies, I see our inspectors, I see our superintendents, I see from all ranks in this organization have a very good understanding now of the future of this organization and the commitment and the development and the time we need for all of our people to succeed. So my responsibility is this organization, my responsibility is this community. Thank you. Yeah, I get that. I get that. I get that all the time. All the time. Yeah.
I'm going to answer your question a bit more directly. Just to the fact of this board got asked that question all the time. Is the chief here for the long term? Is the chief going somewhere else? Is he going to go to Toronto, RCMP, OPP? My colleagues and I got asked all the time how we were going to keep this chief. It can't be done. It's not going to happen. So we were able to get this done today, and that's a testament to everything the chief just said. It's a testament to his commitment to this organization. But most importantly, I want Londoners to hear this. It's a testament to his commitment to the city of London. Because a lot of times, I'm a Londoner to my core, born and raised. I've spent my entire life here. I'm raising my children here. And Londoners often think that, we're just a stop in the road for a lot of people in their careers. Leaders come in and they go out. And that's what people told us, as my colleagues and I, we would hear it all the time, especially our elected officials on this board. They would hear that. And this just shows you that when the chief came, he made a commitment to make this city safer. He made a commitment to repair the ills of this organization. We had a lot of great people working really, really, really hard, and I want to be clear, but the structure of this organization needed to be repaired, and we needed to make sure that the service was set up for the next 100 years. And so today, the chief is backing up those words. He's committed to London, and we couldn't be more proud to have him leading our organization until 2031.
Yes. Sorry, can you just go with start with your name and?
You mentioned that there's a lot of work. Not that it's still single focus, but your perspective, is there an issue that's top of mind priority?
So Alessio Danini from CBC is asking what issue the chief has top of mind to tackle going forward.
Yeah, thank you for that question. And I would say that this extension for me gives me comfort in knowing that we can continue the work that we've already started. So what's top of mind, we're 170 years old as a police service. I can tell you yesterday, our members attended the National Memorial for Police Officers and Peace Officers at Parliament in Ottawa. And that's to pay tribute to those officers who paid the ultimate sacrifice and show respect to the families of the fallen. And we are 170 years old as a police service. Yesterday, we had the largest showing in our history of our members here, showing respect, showing support, and being proud to represent our police service in this profession. We had over 100 members present in Ottawa. And I was speaking to a number of our members who have been here a long time, and they can remember at times we've had 4 members, we've had 6 members, we've had 10 members. So I share that with you because there's a lot of work to do. And we have to make sure our people feel valued. You can't just stop, you got to keep going. We have to put the systems in place to truly support our members, make them feel valued, and prepare them for their journey into leadership. So what we're doing here, and my deputies will know this because they deal with me every single day. We talk about this all the time. My job is to make sure that we develop the best leaders in the country. The importance is because the next generation of police officers are coming in. They're here. They're here. We have multi-generations of police officers here. The officers that we're hiring today are very different than the officers we hired 20 years ago. They need different leadership and they need different support. But we're building the future of police officers here because we got to prepare for the growth of this city. And if you look at our city, we're growing about, the estimates are 9,000 to 12 or 13,000 a year. Think about that. That's a lot of people coming in to London. And if we're not planning now, we're not going to be prepared for the future of the children and families in this city. So to answer your question, there's lots of work that needs to be done. We need to modernize the organization. We're continuing that. And like the mayor has said, the investments in this organization, we're not just investing in the organization. The board has gave us the opportunity and ability to invest in people. And that's very important. So we're going to continue to invest in our people, listen to the community, so that we can provide the service that they deserve.
I'm going to add something to that because I get this question all the time. What's your top priority? And I like the way the chief answered it because there isn't always a top priority. A large, complex organization that has a lot of needs never has a top priority. I want to give you an example from City Hall. At one point, people said, "How are you going to turn this thing around on housing? Your processing times are slow. You can't get building permits out the door. The departments are kind of fighting with each other." What we did is we hired Scott Mathers. We made a really good hire. And if you make a really good hire and they have a really good plan and you support that person properly, they turn things around, right? We're not here to micromanage every aspect of the operations of an organization at city council or this board. It's not our role. Our role is to get the right people in the right positions, resource them well, set the policy direction, and let them do their job. And I think that's what this board has done. That's what city council's tried to do. And what you get then is you get to tackle all of these complex issues in a really effective way. Right? Response times start to come down. Traffic enforcement is up. Violent crime comes down. Those are the types of things that Londoners expect and want if you say you're going to make the city safer. So I'm glad the chief didn't pick just one specific thing, because I think the expectation out there is there's a lot of things that need to be moving in the right direction. And when you have good leadership, well-resourced, well-supported, you'll make progress on all of those things if you make the right investments. So I want to say to the chief, I really like the answer. If you would have given one thing, I would have said there's other stuff we got to do, but I think that's how you operate, and that's how you get really good results over the long term too.
Yes, sir.
Craig Neal with Blackburn Media. I just did a quick perusal of various police contracts around the province. I'm looking at 4 years of runway. You've given Chief Trung 6 years. And why that length?
So Craig Needles from Blackburn is asking that in his scan of various police chiefs across the province, they give 3 to 4 year contracts. Yet Chief Trung just received approximately a 6-year contract. Why that extra runway?
Thanks for the question, Craig. I would have given him 10 if I could, if I'm being blunt. And I know this board would back me up on that statement. Chief Trung is an all-star in the policing world in Ontario and across this country. I'll tell a story, and one of my colleagues was with me at a conference out in Victoria, and some of you may know Paul Brandt, the country music star. Susan, member Stevenson, was standing there chatting with him after he gave a keynote, and he asked where she was from, and she said, "Oh, London, Ontario," and she goes, "Oh, the chief, Tai Trung, he's the Yoda of human trafficking, and he is, quote, my hero." These are, now I know the chief probably wants to get out of the room right now because he doesn't do really well with these sort of compliments, but that's just one example of dozens that I've heard. And what we know is that there is still so much more work to do. We know that really, in order for the full multi-year budget, that the massive investment that we got from Londoners, and thank you to Londoners and City Council for that support, and Mayor Morgan's leadership. I also see Deputy Mayor Sean Lewis in the back as well. And for us to really see the fruits of that labor, we're going to need another 2, 3, 4 years for that to be fully implemented. we don't want to be changing course. We don't want a new leader coming in to do that. So the board sat down, we had long, hard conversations about what we saw for the future and how we protected the investments that Londoners have made in this organization so that we never go back to where we were before. Because it's not fair to Londoners, it's not fair to our members, and it's not fair to our civilians either. This, just steal another line from another colleague of mine, Vice Chair Branscombe, this organization was about to collapse under its own weight. And the board embarked on a full-scale modernization, and that was led, of course, with the hiring of Chief Trong, and subsequent steps have been taken. As you also know, Craig, we're hiring a CAO, which we're currently in market for. We're also hiring a general counsel. There's still big things that this board has to do to put in place, and all those things take time. But one thing I also want to be clear about that contract length. With a contract length like that become big expectations. The expectations were already high for Chief Trong. They're now that much higher as well. We are a governance oversight body at the end of the day. That is our job. Our job is not to get bogged down in the operations. It's about governance, and it's about making sure that we provide the police service that Londoners expect. And we believe that having Chief Trong at the helm until 2031 will be able to achieve that. It's a fair question. Oh, do you?
No, it's okay.
Okay, so just for those online, I'll take Inspector Eunan's job here, but there was a question about the average annual value of the contract and whether I could discuss that or not. As is the case with any HR contract, I'm not going to go into the terms and conditions in that contract. That being said, we will of course comply with legislation that talks about the disclosure of salary and benefits through the province of Ontario. The board, and by extension the London Police Service, will of course honor that commitment. But in terms of the specific terms outside the length, I'm not going to discuss that today.
Yes, sir.
But when you think of London, it's probably one of the highest growing cities in Canada. The population is spiking, going up. So with all of these new people coming into the city, calling London home, how do you adapt as a service to as well fill the needs of all these new people coming in?
Thank you for the question. That question was from Eddie Berkovich of XFM. He's inquiring about the rising population in the City of London and how do we adapt to those challenges.
That's a great question. I'll first say that the board has embarked on the first step, and the board has supported us with resources for this multi-year budget. This multi-year budget concludes at in 2027. So with the 4-year plan that was put in place, we have a hiring plan, we have outlook and anticipations of where the organization needs to be in this next 4 years until 2027. So the planning is right off the hop the most important thing. As people come into this city, and this was what we had planned for with this multi-year budget, soon we're going to have to start talking about the next multi-year budget and what that looks like on how we can position this organization well to deal with the continued growth of this city and this community. But our planning has been well in advance, knowing that London is one of the fastest growing cities in Canada. But the biggest problem that we had for many years is underfunding and under-resourcing. So part of what we're doing and why it's important that we plan to 2031 is because we're still trying to bring in the resources to bring us where we need to be. And at the end of this 4-year budget cycle, we're actually still below the national average for resourcing. So I want to make sure we understand this. We have been so under-resourced for so long that this 4-year budget cycle, we are still not where we need to be. So when we plan, the plan is the next 10, 15, 20 years. And as the community grows with complexity and crime and challenges, This is where I have a fantastic senior leadership team and deputy chiefs that we are thinking about where are resources required now, where are they required in the future. And this is where we have evidence-based policing approaches, data that helps inform us, and making sure ultimately that we hold ourselves to account. So as the chief, I get the honor and the privilege to thank everybody for doing great work, and the work that they're doing, I get to acknowledge that. I can't acknowledge that every day, and that's why I have my senior leadership team who run areas of command and their executive and the deputies to do that work as well. But as chief, I also get the job that's not so fun, and that's holding our people to account, holding our leaders to account, and making sure that their expectations and the responsibility of leadership remains intact. And that is to this community. Thank you.
Let me add just one quick thing. Your question was about growth, so I can't let it pass because I think I agree with everything the chief said. But in a fast-growing city, and this will be boring, so probably no one will put this in their stories, but we have new tax dollars coming in, right? We're growing new houses, there's new tax dollars coming in. It's called assessment growth at the city. The London Police Service and the board has passed an assessment growth business case and will continue to do so that as we have new taxes in the city, as we have new neighborhoods, those neighborhoods require garbage collection, snow removal, police enforcement, fire protection, all those things. Assessment growth business cases are submitted to the city, and then the city allocates some of that new taxes proportionately across different services. So the London Police Service has moved to a system where on the growth-related costs, they're looking at growing the service in proportion to the growing city because of the new tax dollars coming in. And they're not alone on that. It's the way that we, plow more roads. And the transit service, for example, has submitted their first business case, something that council was kind of, a little bit of a rough ride with the previous board on, but has submitted its first assessment growth business case to say, hey, listen, as the city grows, there's transit density that needs to be happening. So some of those growth dollars should be going to transit as well. So that's another way that we actually fund the growth and deal with a growing city, because when you have a growing city, you have new people coming in, you have new buildings, you have new taxes, and that gets proportionately allocated as well.
Yes.
I'm Chirag with the Western Gazette. My question is to the chief. What would be the one goal you would say in your 2-year term as you made the most progress towards, and personally, what goal would you think made the board give you that 1 year?
So Chirab from Western Gazette is wondering what one main goal or accomplishment that the chief has made over the last 2 years that has probably led to this contract extension.
So I know you asked for the chief, but I think I'll answer first on behalf of the board as to why we thought it was necessary. As I mentioned in my previous answer, stability is very important right now. We're on the track towards an organizational modernization, but we're not there yet. This is not a sprint, this is a marathon, so we're still working on that. But if we look at what the chief has done in terms of the new service delivery model that has driven down our response time, that we've seen year over year decreases in the crime severity index, if we look at the focus that he's put on mental health of our officers, as well as the mental health of those that our officers are dealing with on the streets as well, taking a progressive attitude and a compassionate approach while still making sure that we enforce the law, which is the job of police here in this city. If we look at what he has done in partnerships with our hospital and the nurse and police partnerships that we're now seeing out with Foot Patrol, if we take a look at the creative solutions that the chief has done on the open air drug use strategy, I can go on and on. This wasn't done lightly. I want to be very, very clear. But when we have someone who's really making a generational leader who's making transformational change in an organization, you lock that person up. You don't let someone else take them from you. And this is what we are doing here today, because again, I want to come back to what our job here, what my colleagues and I are empowered to do on the Police Service Board. That is to protect the organization so that they can provide a service to Londoners that they expect. And we heard loud and clear when all of us started that it was nowhere near the level. Like, let's take a walk down memory lane here. When Code 1 calls were over 10 minutes. Code 2 calls, we were in the dozens of hours. And don't get me started on Code 3 calls, we could be in weeks. So this was not acceptable. When someone calls 911, they want to see the police at their door. When someone calls 911 or a non-emergency number on something that isn't a code one, they want to see a timely response. That's what they expect. And the mayor and the councillors and all of City Council as a whole made the difficult decision, because we know it's hard for Londoners right now. We know that we're in an affordability crisis. We understand that. But if we didn't invest now, when? As the chief alluded to in his comments, we were reinvesting in an organization that saw decades of underinvestment. This wasn't a year or two that went by. This was a generation that underinvested in this service. So we had no choice but to make sure that this investment was made, and we thank the city for their leadership in doing that. But in doing so, with all that money comes great responsibility. We need to make sure that our plan is laser focused at delivering results and changing midstream. If someone else was to come and make the chief an offer to join their organization, whether it be another police service, whether it be the private sector, I can tell you, as someone who has the great responsibility of working with my colleagues on this board and chairing this board, I am asked constantly about how the chief is doing what he's doing in London, how they are achieving that. And I think that I speak for all Londoners when we want people to want to be in London. We want people to stay in London. We want people to invest themselves in this community. And that's what the chief has done. And maybe I'll end my comment and then turn it over to the chief by saying this. I was actually on a podcast by someone who is in this room, Craig Needles, when a community leader who is now retired, who ran a very, very important organization to our community, told us on air that he had more dealings with the chief of police and the London Police Service in the last 2 years than he had in his entire 35-year career combined. We are rebuilding those bridges with our community. We are making sure those conversations are happening, not just on policing matters. If you go out to a cultural event, if you go out to a car event, if you go out to a fair, the chief of police is there. And that is a testament to the chief's leadership. That's a testament to his investment in this community, and that's why he's the right leader for this time of this organization.
You ultimately asked, what I'm proud of in the last 2+ years. I'm proud of a lot. I'm proud of my team and all the nice things the chair is saying. That's not me. That's all from our people. Like, that is the truth. I can't be everywhere. That's why you see white shirts here. The white shirts are senior leaders, and they represent the chief. So I really need to stress that, what I'm proud of? I'm proud of trying to change police culture in this organization. And every leader is different. I am very focused on the future of our people. I'm very focused on the responsibility that I have as the chief and making sure that our people feel valued. It's a balance that a lot of chiefs have to deal with, because there's an expectation from the community on the service that they deserve from our officers. We're over 1,000 members strong in this organization. We're not perfect. We are not perfect. We will make mistakes. Our members will make mistakes. I will make mistakes. But the culture that we have been trying to change is that we encourage our people to make mistakes, hold themselves to account, and let's be compassionate as they grow. That's what develops great leaders. And in a world of policing, it has been years of being scared to make mistakes. Our people are under huge scrutiny by the courts, by the Special Investigations Unit, civil litigation, the world of public and community courts and scrutiny and social media, all of that. Our people are under a lot of stress. So what I am proud of, I mentioned yesterday we had over 100 members in Ottawa. That shows me that people are proud. There's people that are proud. And that also shows me, because we have senior officers there, we have retired members there, and we have brand new officers there. Our job is to show the young officers the way. Our job is to lead by example. When I start seeing people proud and more proud than they ever been, when I have conversations with people, because I get a lot of complaints, but when I hear officers say that they're happy, when I hear officers say that they've never felt better, that makes me extremely proud. And I'll share a story with you. When I first came here over 2 years ago, I had a community member tell me I wouldn't last 4 months. It's a true story. You will not last 4 months, Chief, in this organization. No way. I wish you the best. You will not last it. You won't last 4 months in the organization, and you're an outsider. You're not a Londoner, so the community will not embrace you. I can tell you this. I am so grateful for this community and the partners that we have with the organization. But I have community members and people in the community that are stronger and I feel are closer to me than some relationships that I've had for over 40 years. So I'm proud to be here. I'm proud to be your chief, and I'm proud to represent my senior leadership team, my incredible deputy chiefs, and all of our members. I'm very proud.
Yes.
Devin Peacock on ADCFPL, one question. Based on the earlier comments about securing the chief, are there any opt-outs? Other service organization would look to hire his services? And two, based on that you talked about London being a growing city, based on your time in York, do you notice any crime trends in London and from York and the GTA in terms of their growth in the city that you're starting to notice?
Thank you for the questions. That was Devin Peacock from 980 asking, one, if there's an opt-out clause, and two, whether crime trends you see crime trends that are similar from York to London.
So I'll take the opt-out clause, I guess, first, that question. So what I can tell you is that the commitment both on behalf of the board and on behalf of the chief shows you that he's here for the long term. So can people approach him and try to get him to come to another community? Of course. Nothing's stopping anyone from doing that. Again, as I mentioned to one of your colleagues, I'm not going to get into the specific clauses of each contract, but what I can tell you is that the chief has invested his reputation into this job. He's invested his reputation into this community. And by him committing until December 31st, 2031, which I think is also an important point to know, that's when the chief also reaches 30 years of service as a police officer. So that's a monumental stage in his career also. Again, I just want to reinforce the conversations that I had with the chief as chair when we were negotiating this deal, the conversations that my colleagues had with the chief throughout the process, is that he wants to be here. He believes in this community, and the term is a testament to that. Because if you're looking over the fence, if you're looking to go somewhere else, you don't sign until 2031. Chief?
Hi, Devin. If you're talking about crime trends across the GTA, we're dealing with the same challenges and the issues with the rise in gun violence across the GTA. You see it. You see what's happening in the GTA. It's happening here. I think what we've been able to do because of Crime Severity Index in the last 2 years, while other police services have been dealing with surges and increases in Crime Severity Index, we've been very focused on strong enforcement, strong targeted enforcement of those individuals coming into our city committing violence, and also looking at the individuals in the organized and loosely organized groups in our city that are creating the most harm. And our members, we have incredible enforcement teams out there doing work that the public doesn't see every day. And they are targeting those groups and those individuals that are causing the most violence. So not only that is important, that is extremely important from our role as a police service, but what's also more important, and just as important, Devin, is that we invest in the future of people in this community. That means the young people, the youths, the at-risk youths, investing in upstream supports and investing in relationship building as a police service. So we're very strong on enforcement, but you also see our deputy chiefs hugging kids, giving teddy bears. It's not just a photo op. It's actually investing in young people and making sure we strengthen that bond with police and our young people at all ages. It's very important if you're going to make the city safe and plan for the future. We have organizations and partnering organizations, non-government organizations. I've said this before. Policing, we can't do it on our own. We need the social service groups and the groups to do what they need to do. We're here to do our part. And sometimes I look, and sometimes I will say this to you, I will look what's happening in the city, and I can smile because I know this organization's being very vocal, this leader's being very vocal, and this group's doing what they need to do for advocating for change and raising awareness. And we can actually focus on the enforcement piece.
If that's all the questions today, that'll conclude the press conference. Again, thank you all for joining us here today. We'll be posting the media release on our LPS website and the London Police Service Board website, social media channels shortly from the Police Services Board. For media outlets joining us online, please send us emails and we'll share any additional information that becomes available. Thank you all for coming.